weekday Cup of the Word. We're in Proverbs 20, and Proverbs 20 marks a change. Proverbs 20 begins a new section of Proverbs that switches from the contrasting statements of the wicked's this way, the righteous is this way, the hard worker's this way, the lazy man's this way, that back and forth type statement that we've seen the last few chapters, to now dealing with the consequences of behavior. If you do this, then this is the long-term consequence of it. Wisdom is often referred to as that thing that lets you see the end of something at the beginning. And so it shouldn't surprise us that in a book dealing with wisdom in this life, you would have a discussion of consequences. When you do this, then what's the long-term consequence of it? This chapter will deal with a variety of things with life and your conduct in it. The consequences of drinking. The consequences and the realities of being around rulers and kings and other people with great authority, that how you talk or choose not to talk, when you speak, when you don't speak, all of those sorts of things have a bigger consequence when you're around somebody who has the authority to really change your life because they are in a position of power. This chapter will also talk about the importance of watching out for gossip, both not doing it yourself and being careful around those who are prone to it, honoring your parents and the long-term consequences of having that kind of honor and care for your parents. It'll talk about things like haggling and sleeping in late, the consequences of just that extra 5 minutes on the snooze button. In this chapter, there's one particular verse that seems to stand out as a tricky one, and that's verse 25, where it talks about the man who cries out, "This is holy," and then inquires afterwards. The idea behind that is the man, when he says, "This is holy," he's making a vow, I'm devoting this thing to God. And after he says, I'll devote it to God, then he goes back and says, well, I don't know, do I really want to devote that to God? Maybe I want to keep that thing. That sort of attitude is wrong. You'd be better off to not devote it all than to make the commitment and the vow to God and then change your mind or not give cheerfully but grudgingly. All of these things wrap around the same idea. Small action that we think is not a big deal at the time, but wisdom tells us, no, this has a trajectory. It has a long-term consequence that's large and lasting. That's your Daily Cup. That's Proverbs 20, and we'll see you tomorrow.